Thank you for being here today. I'm Sharon Noley, and I work for Summit Eldercare. And Summit Eldercare is under Fallon Health. Has anybody ever heard of it?
No.
All right, so this is going to be good information for you. So I'm here to talk to you about the program and then also how to de-stress your life during these wonderful times. So the program's been around for over 25 years. We have 5 locations. We're in Leominster, we're also in Lowell, we're in Worcester on Grove Street. I don't know if you've ever been by it, but it's on 288 Grove Street. And then we're also in Springfield and in Webster. So we started off on East Mountain Street 26 years ago, I think it is. And I don't know if you've ever been by that area.
I have.
Yes.
I've been
So everybody,
it's lovely. Yeah.
everybody knows, of that area, and a lot of people are saying, well, we don't see you anymore, where are you? So we were in a large building on 288 Grove Street in Worcester. And what is Summit Eldercare? The program is a PACE program, and they call it a program of all-inclusive care for the elderly. We're the only one of its kind in Worcester County. There are there's 8 other PACE programs in Massachusetts. So we're one of 8, but we're actually the largest in New England. And the PACE program helps you with home care at home, so it can help with grocery shopping, cooking, and cleaning, and help with personal care, medication reminders, that kind of thing. We also have adult day healths in those 5 locations that I told you about. So people are able to socialize, go in and see their doctor. We have physicians on staff, a lot of them are geriatric physicians, and we have physicians and nurse practitioners right there at the sites. We also work closely with St. Vincent's and Reliant for specialists. At the site, we have physical, occupational, and speech therapy, and we provide transportation. So that's why I said it's all-inclusive care, because it's the physicians, it's the nurse practitioners, we have social workers on staff in case people are looking into a different place to live or needing help with issues at home. We also have a dietitian on our staff, and we can provide mom's meals. That's the name of the company, but we provide mom's meals. So we do so much. People might say to me, well, Sharon, how do people pay for this program? If someone's income is $2,382 or less a month of gross income, and they show less than $2,000 in assets, if they're living in their own home or they have their own car, that's acceptable. So they can have the house, the car, and then the income has to be under $2,382 in order to get it at no cost, and then show less than $2,000 in assets. So this is a program that can be at no cost. It also can be at a cost, and it just really depends on assets and income. That's kind of a little bit harder to explain, so I just say have people call me directly. And again, I'm Sharon Nolby, and I work for Summit Eldercare, and I'll just give you my telephone number in case you have questions about eldercare in general. My cell is 774-232-0412. But again, the program has been around for a while. I've been with the company since 2010, January 2010. And my role is to do presentations and really to get out there, meet people, and explain the program. A lot of times I work with senior centers and different housings. I handle the Leominster area, so northern Worcester County, and then parts of the Grove Street location. So that's why I'm here today in Berlin. But if anybody has questions, they can also talk to Victoria about the program. And it's really nice to have me here today. Do you have any questions of anything I didn't cover?
You don't have this area really?
Berlin, it would be actually, probably the closest one is either Leominster or Grove Street. I'm not sure which one is closer. Depends on where you live. But we don't have a facility right in Berlin.
No, I don't. I know that.
Yeah.
But like, I have a homemaker,
Okay.
and she's from the shelter.
Yes. Yeah.
And she has been a great help. And
Yes.
I suggest that anybody like myself who is grounded and no car and home that would be a good idea to have.
Yeah, we work with a lot of different agencies and some of them are out in that area. So because of Lowell, because we, we're still in Marlboro and Hudson and we're in the Lowell area too. So we can talk later, but we may work with that same agency. So we actually work with several agencies and they provide the care through the agencies and we contract with them. So we can talk later about where the agency is.
What about Hudson area?
Well, the Hudson area, which we do cover Hudson and Marlboro, but they would go to Grove Street.
Right.
We also work with assisted livings because I know you talked a little bit about assisted livings. And the way we do it is we help pay for part of the stay. We're helping pay for the care in the assisted living. So when sometimes people are in situations where there isn't a lot of assets, they're able to work with Summit Eldercare, be on the Summit Eldercare program. We work with Christopher Heights in Marlboro, Christopher Heights in Webster, in Worcester. We have a couple in Milford that we work with. We work with Corcoran House in Clinton, Hayward, Wakefield, Commons, and Gardner. So there's several assisted livings that we work with in this area, and then we're also in Lowell and Springfield. But it's nice because we're able to have the person on Summit, get the care from Summit, and then be in an assisted living.
Do you have to have insurance?
Yes. So if somebody was interested in the Summit Eldercare program, they also have to have 3 activities of daily living that they need help with. One of them is an activity of daily living that's nursing home certifiable. So in other words, maybe needing help with their medication reminders, or maybe needing nursing care, or needing help with wound care, or reminding them, cueing. Maybe they're not eating correctly. So there's all different activities of daily living, but what we do is we send out a nurse to do an assessment. And then once the assessment is done, we also have them do an intake. They meet with the social worker and the nurse at Summit. They usually go to the home. And then once they're accepted in the program, we have to make sure that they're safe in their home so they could be accepted. Sometimes we have to talk to them about how they can be safe and then possibly get into the program while they are safe. But they do have to be considered safe in the home. Once that happens, we help them get on to Mass Health or they pay privately. It does take a little bit of time, but that's the way somebody would be able to join. They have to be 55 years or older, which is young, even though they call it for the elderly. I think anyways, 55 years is young, and there aren't a lot of programs that cover people that are that age group, the 55 to 62. Because a lot of other programs are either 62 or 65. Okay. Well, I think I covered it all. But again, just a synopsis would be that we do have adult day health. We provide home care, help in the home. And we also provide the transportation to doctor's appointments and back and forth to Summit. We also work with medication reminder boxes, and so we work with different companies for that. All the meds are covered, all the medical equipment is covered, hearing aids, eyeglasses are covered. So that's the program. And again, I can be reached at 774-232-0412. Okay, so I am here to talk to you about how to de-stress your life.
I could use that.
So I really, I'm going to give tips, and I'm not perfect. And so I realize that no one's perfect. But these are just some tips on how to try to make you more enthusiastic and try a little harder, because it's tough during these times. And then, and whether, I started this presentation way before COVID, but it just seems like it is a good fit for these times. But truthfully, even before COVID, I was talking about how to de-stress your life. So I remember I was in my office and I was talking to my counterpart, and she said, well, why would you be stressed if you're elderly and you're in the senior center? I said, children, grandchildren, health. I mean, there's so many reasons. So I didn't understand why she asked me that. But anyways, of
No
course,
relation.
it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And as we age, there's more situations that happen upon us relating to friends and family and age. And so, yeah, there's a lot of things. And of course, the virus that doesn't matter how old you are. In fact, I think as you age, it seems like there's more stress. But one thing I do feel that is very important is we make unhealthy choices. A lot of people, I have to laugh because they'd be home and then they'd be working. And then they would be like, well, what's there to do tonight? The only thing that there is to do is to have a drink. Then they'd start drinking earlier or whatever. But I'm just saying that people make decisions because they're bored or because they're lonely. But they could be alcohol related, gamble related, food related, just eating the wrong foods, overeating, overthinking. So one thing that's important is sometimes when we're listening to the news and we're focused on the news, we are overthinking like, oh my God, what if I get it? Oh my God, what if this happens? And you're constantly worrying. And we do that with even family members. Like we can look at a situation, maybe a grandchild, and say, oh my God, they're making the wrong choice. What if this happens? And then this is going to happen. And then they'll get divorced. And then what if they have kids? And you're already projected like their whole life. And then the first thing hasn't even happened. And then it never happens. So we have to be careful when we're overthinking and over worrying. We have to like step back and say, stop. Even when we listen to the news, it's good information, but sometimes it's so much information and there's so many things that are happening in the world today that it puts us in a downward feeling, a negative feeling. And then if we're feeling like that and we're alone, or even if you're with your husband or wife or children and you're just feeling depressed, you have to knock yourself out of it. Maybe read or call a friend or go for a walk. But it is important to make some changes and not let yourself feel this way, because there's a lot more depression in the world today. One thing I feel is important, and not everybody can do it, but exercise. Even if we're exercising in our chair or doing yoga or anything that we can do, even if it's a short walk or anything, bending down, working with little weights, just to keep the blood flowing in the brain and in the body, and to feel good about yourself. It's one thing when we don't feel good, and we know that we can feel better by stopping to overeat, drinking less, worrying less, and exercising more. I know that shallow breathing, when we get nervous or upset, if you breathe in a shallow way, then it stimulates the nervous system, and it causes negative things for your body. But even stretching, does anybody do yoga or walk or here?
I have a bad hip,
Okay.
so I walk with mailbox.
Oh, good. Okay. Yep. And you know that you want to push yourself. Of course, when it's snowy, sometimes it's a little bit hard. Another thing that I wrote down was socializing. It's important to keep your friends. Your friends are a gift you give yourself, because friends are work. Some friends you almost can only take so much of, and that's okay. But, I had a friend and she said, well, I don't associate with those people because, they did this and they did that. Well, if I didn't associate with my friends because they did this and they did that, I don't think I'd have any friends. Everybody does different things that bother you. You just have to confront them and say, look, this bothers me. Sometimes friends can be a positive, and sometimes they can be a negative. And if you have a friend that is constantly putting you down and you feel bad and you still see them, either it's not a good situation for you, or you need to speak up, and you need to make some changes. And no, you haven't spoken up for 20, 30 years. You need to speak up. You need to say, look, this bothered me 20 years ago, and it's bothering me now, and you're still doing it, and it's not fair, and it's not right. It's okay to have a voice, and it is okay to have a voice with family members too. That will make you feel better. You can't be walked all over. I'm just, I know I'm saying that a friend is important, but some friends maybe are not good for you. And if you are with somebody and then you're feeling bad all the time, you go home and you don't feel good about yourself, then maybe you need to either speak up or then you need to maybe not see that person. It's better to speak up because it's hard to just all of a sudden stop seeing somebody. And I know people do that, but it makes it hard on the other person. They don't understand. And sometimes they need to be spoken to about different things because they don't realize they're doing it. Maybe it was the way they were treated as a child, and maybe it was the way they were treated in their family, and they don't even realize that they're doing to their friends. But call your friends because they're dealing with issues too. Sometimes you're in a bad way, and I'm in a bad way, and I make a phone call to a friend, and it was like, oh my, you think you have problems, Sharon? Everybody's got situations, and it was like, thank God I made that phone call. Because they were feeling down and out, and sometimes you have these intuition. You have intuition where it tells you call so and so. Do it. But it's nice even to walk with a family member, or attend an adult day help like some at Eldercare, or go to the senior center. Come on over. The senior center is here as a resource for you, and even if you just have your friends go with you, so that you're with other people, you can either pick them up, or I don't think there's transportation, right?
We do have some
Okay.
transportation.
Yeah,
So
but
that's nice.
It's not always.
Well, yeah, it's nothing's perfect, right? But even if you get involved in a group, but I think that there's only so much we can do in the town. You're open how many hours?
We're open about 2.5 days a week.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's good. Another thing that I wrote down was to write, if you had a journal, and I always get nervous that someone's going to read my journal, so you have to be careful. But write in a journal, get your feelings out. Sometimes we're feeling a certain way because of something that's happened to us in the past, and it relates to the same feeling you had when you were younger, or dealing with an ex-husband, or whatever it is. You still have those same feelings, and it comes up. So it's good to write about it or talk about it. But you could even write a letter, or you can write the letter and rip it up.
That's the best one.
That's the best way. My mother told me that she wrote a letter to her, at the time, boyfriend, and she broke up with him. And then she sent it that night, but she always regretted it and wished that she didn't write the letter and send it. Maybe, thought about it in the morning and then didn't send it. But, everything works out in the long run. But, it's kind of funny. You might want to, either if you think you want to mail that letter, just sit on it for a few days, right? Another thing that's very important is laughter. I always try to bring laughter in many, many different ways. And I'm fortunate that I am somewhat funny. I think I am anyways, but I'm fortunate that I have that kind of attitude. Not everybody does, but laughter is so important. I married a gentleman that you just wake up and you start laughing. Just the way his personality is. So then it keeps me laughing and me joking back. So I'm fortunate, that we have that situation. But laughter is very important. There was a woman who had cancer, and she wasn't doing too good. And so what she did was every night she'd watch a funny movie. And actually the cancer was cured, with help from doctors, but they were really surprised. But she just tried to bring in more positive energy in her life, and laughter, not, sometimes when you're living in the fear of the disease or the fear of anything, then you're living in more of the negative. So the fear can cause more damage to you mentally, physically, by just constantly living in the fear. And that's kind of what's happening today, because if you do listen to the news, then there is a lot of information that is causing fear. So we have to try to rise above it, try to laugh more, right? You can spend time with friends and, reminisce about the old days, when it was, it seemed like it was easier. In our minds, it was easier and more fun. But, you know, we still have to enjoy today because this is the best we have today, you know?
Tomorrow's always a better day.
Yep, but we hopefully today's pretty good. I talked a little bit about taking care of yourself and remember that when we take care of ourselves as females or even husbands or fathers, it's important for all of us to take care of ourselves because we're always taking care of our children or we're taking care of other people and worried about other people. Most people, you know, do that, mothers or so it's important to take care of yourself. Sometimes you give, and it's too much. And you know it, and you feel like you're not getting back. It's okay to speak up and say something. You know, you don't have to always give until you're worn out. You know, sometimes we're caregivers and we're trying to help our family members possibly get into a program like Summit, but we're trying to help the family members and it's wearing down on us. And that is actually a situation that we deal with all the time. That family members are trying to help their loved one and it's too much work for them, but they just don't want to face it. So even if they got a little help from a Summit Eldercare program or an elder services program or an adult day help, then, you know, it would help the caregiver because if something happens to the caregiver, what will happen to the elder that's in need? They always have to think about that. So taking care of themselves, especially caregivers, being careful not to overeat, even if you take a bath, if you can. That's like if you can. Meditate. Meditating is very important. It's not the easiest thing to do. And what I did was I listened to online different meditation, like the 15-minute meditation. It's not really CDs, but on YouTube. And it just helps me to meditate because it's not that easy. Sometimes you can just keep trying and trying, or you could try in a class and that would help you. But if you meditate and you just try to stop and think and worry, then you really kind of get some answers. Sometimes I'll meditate over a question I have. And I feel like it's, you know, it could be a family member that's deceased, but I feel like a guiding angel, whatever you believe, I feel like I get intuition on answering some of my problems and some of my questions. Has anyone ever done that?
Not really, but I am from a religious background.
Yes.
Even though I don't practice my faith now, I often stop and say, you know, St. Anthony finds Swami here, you know, or when one of my family members is sick, I'll say, you know, one of my sisters went to the hospital thinking it was COVID, or probably was COVID, but they helped her. I just stopped and said, you know, dear God, please help her. You know.
Yes. Yeah, I believe in the power of prayer, but I don't want to get into that in this conversation, but I do. And I have found that St. Anthony had really helps me find things.
Oh, yes. If it wasn't for him, I'd be lost.
But, you know, I've lost so many things, you know, and found them. And I swear, St. Anthony said, look, you got to stop bothering because I just kept asking for him. But sometimes I'll say, St. Anthony, help me with blah, 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 not just help me find an answer, you know, because it just comes to your brain, but you have to listen when you ask for help from St. Anthony. But yeah, that's funny that you mentioned that. And then there is the saint with the robe. What is her name? Is it Mary? No. There is, I shouldn't have brought it up, but it's a saint that she gives out roses. And so there was a woman in my office and she would actually give, it was a gold medal with the saint on it. And the way you know that the saint is working is you get roses. And it was amazing how we got a lot of us at the medal got roses. So if we can think of it, that would be good, but I can't at the moment. But don't set unrealistic guidelines. Sometimes in life, around the holidays, we say, well, we can do this and I can go out 4 nights a week and I can see you at this time. And you're not really thinking that, you just think you want to do it, but it's too much. And I've done that too. You know, I book myself too much. But then you push yourself and sometimes you get sick because your resistance is low. So you have to realize that it's important to take care of yourself, like I mentioned, and don't set unrealistic guidelines and think that you can just be miracle.
St. Therese.
St. Therese. Thank you. Saint Teresa of the Little Flower, I think. it is.
Yes.
Yes. And make sure that you're able to sleep. You know, make sure that you sleep at night.
I have a way of getting to sleep.
Yes.
I count backwards.
Oh, yeah.
When I was at Cushing, I worked at Cushing, and there was a speaker that said, you know, if you would lay in bed and start counting backwards,
Yes.
might have to do it 3 or 4 times sometimes, but
That's all right. Yep.
it kind of like you're thinking of these numbers.
Instead of worrying. Yes.
And that's how a lot of times if I'm stressed out, you know, start counting backwards. Then I'll count forwards by 2s or 5s or whatever.
Yeah, but
I
it works.
just keep my mind on something besides
Right.
whatever it is, and that's how I
Yeah,
get to
sometimes at night, I think about what I'm gonna do the next day, and then I think about all the things that didn't go right during the day. But then I have to like say, okay, stop. And then I learned how to do Reiki, so I do Reiki on myself. But basically, if somebody just like tries to like put their hands on their chest and their stomach and just tries to relax and get everything out of their brain, almost like they're meditating again. And I think magnesium does help too, does help people to sleep.
Another thing I try is I take deep breaths and
Yes,
slowly let them out.
yes,
And I do that for
Yeah.
quite a while. When I feel like I'm getting rattled,
yes,
I say, listen,
right,
deep breath,
yes,
and let it out. That helps a lot.
yes, the deep breath really does help. I had been in the hospital a few times with chest pains, and I thought I was having a heart attack. Well, come to find out, like the chest pains was going down my arm and everything, and it was anxiety. And my little nephew was in the hospital, and she, my niece, my grandnephew, but anyways, my niece had, there was a problem. So I ended up in the hospital because I was so worried about them. And then I realized later that it was anxiety. Here I was thinking I was having a heart attack. It's not funny, but you know, anxiety can affect you in so many different ways, and you think that it's something else. But being thankful is also really important. What we could do, and you could be home and you could just raise your arms up and look up and just say what you're thankful for. And I'm thankful to be here today. I'm thankful to be able to present and hopefully influence some people. And I'm thankful for this great job at Fallon Health. I've been there, you know, since 2010, January, and it's been a blessing for me. And I've been able to present to a lot of people and talk to a lot of people and help a lot of people. So if you can think about what you're thankful for, then it is very helpful to start looking at more of the positive in what you're thankful for. I don't know if anybody wants to say today what they're thankful for.
For living
Yeah,
to being able to live fairly healthy for 81 years.
yeah, excellent.
Let's see. Well, thankful for my health, my family, my friends, my company.
Yes,
You know, just thankful to be able to wake up and just try to help people out.
Every day is
Yeah.
a good day.
yeah, every day is a good day. And you know what, the good thing is that if we can give back a little to people, then it helps you, you know, in the long run, you feel better. So that's important too, to give back and not always concentrate on ourselves, but to be thankful and help others. But even if we wake up in the morning and we say, okay, this is what I'm thankful for. I got up. I have food on my table, you know, whatever it is, even if it's small things. Oh, that I'm going to see a friend, or, you know, that I'm working today. But you can also tell someone what you're thankful for, so that you get them rolling. It makes other people feel thankful too, to hear what you're thankful for, because then they maybe are thinking about what they're thankful for. But another thing that's important is forgiving. And if we don't forgive ourselves for what we've done, sometimes in life you may look at yourself and you say, oh, in I can't say 52, but 1975, I did blah, 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 or whatever it is. But if you are feeling that you don't forgive yourself, then it does affect your whole life. because you're still mad at yourself for something that happened years ago, and you don't understand why you did, you maybe understand why you did that. Now, remember, at the time that whatever you did, well, it was the best thing to do then. It was what you wanted to do then, and you did it. And then sometimes in life, you learn lessons from it. Now, if you look at whatever it was and who you were then, and you look at yourself now, you realize that there was some lessons involved in whatever you did. And so you're a better person for it. So you are who you are today from what you did and the lessons that you learned. You're better off today because of that. So that negative turned into somewhat of a positive, possibly. I don't understand how it could not. Anything that we do and we learn from, as long as we learn and we grow from, then it could be that you are a better person and you're better off. So we have to be thankful. So we have to forgive ourselves, like I said. But another thing that's very important is a lot of families nowadays that, more so than I remember anyways, and maybe, maybe I just didn't know it. But there's a lot of families that are broken up, sometimes even broken up because of this one was vaccinated, this one wasn't. We have to realize that everybody has their own thoughts and their own reasons. And, but I just think that it's important for families to be sticking together and try to be friendly with one another and try to forgive whatever it was that they did to you and talk to them, because there could come a time when they're no longer with you and then you may feel bad. If it's not something you want to do and you feel like there's more stress in that, then you have to make the decision. All I'm saying is, if there's a way that the family could reunite, then try to reunite. Try to forgive and try to go on. If not, then you have to just deal with whatever it is. Maybe you need to speak up to that person that has offended you or bothered you. And then you might feel better, even if it's in a letter or a phone conversation. It's just important that you open up to that person, try to explain what they did, and then try to go on with your life. Because you know what's happening. You're upset with somebody else. They don't even know, they don't care. They're going on with their lives and you are not. You may be being affected physically and the person isn't. So you need to go on and live your life, because that person is living their life. They're not worrying about what you're thinking, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So just a quick, make a change. Now I put down change jobs, but I don't feel like doing it. But I'm just saying, sometimes people have part-time jobs, or, so change your job. Maybe don't work. Change your home situation. Sometimes people are in situations where they really need to move out. Change your doctor. Call the doctor. Get up and go someplace that you haven't been before. Do something different. Clean your home. Do the whole feng shui, clear it out. You'll feel better. And give away what you don't need. You have stuff that you just don't wear. I'm trying to do that this year, and give it away, And then just quickly eat mood boosting foods in moderation. Foods like cookies and candy and ice cream, pretzels and dark chocolate. They're actually mood boosting, but don't eat them all the time. But once in a while, it's okay. Serotonin is a brain chemical, and it's responsible for a feeling of calmness and relaxation. The 100-calorie packs work very well. I don't know if you've ever seen those cookie packs. Potassium helps regulate blood pressure and stress. But bananas and potatoes have potassium.
That's why banana bread is good.
Yes. I have it over there. I think it's banana. But create a relaxing space. Find a space in your home if possible that has maybe fresh flowers or, oils in the atomizer, is that what they call it, the atomizer, going. Just a place to relax, a clean place to relax, so that you can meditate, relax, fall asleep, or even think about some of the things that I spoke to you about. Does anybody have anything to add? No?
Not really.
Okay. So that's really it in a nutshell. Again, I'm Sharon Noley from Summit Eldercare, and if you ever have any questions about Eldercare in general, I've worked for Home Care, I've worked for Navicare, which is a senior care options product. I'm working for Summit Eldercare. I've also worked for assisted living, so I have a lot of knowledge
Yeah.
And I have a 98-year-old mother.
Oh, I
We're
have,
still-
I plan to live to 87 or 89 because my grandmother lived to 86.
Yeah. And she's 98, 2 years she'll be on it, so who knows, you know? But thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.